How's it going, everybody? Another video for you. So I finally have kind of, I don't want to say completed my processes for the legal stuff. This is not legal advice. This is not tax advice. This is literally for just entertainment, just something to think about, something to consider. I often get asked the question, where do we start? What's the linear process? And everybody's situation is different, so that's a little tricky. However, just like a quick little video of, from what I can tell, what the clearest path to, like, let's say status correction, updating your files to make it clear that you're a private American living on the land and so on, is, that you're a man. Show me in Title 26, the tax code, where it says a man is taxable. I'm pretty sure it only says person over and over. So just something to think about. Are you a person? Are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you a son, a child of the Most High? So on and so on. This thing is to think about. So for me, what I can tell is the first and foremost is comprehending trust and trust law and creating a trust, a proper common law private trust, okay? Ecclesiastical, ideally. So something that invokes Jesus, God, etc. Then from there, I would do my UC. This is like for me what I would do, right? Is like a trust, proper trust, UCC filing, actually a non-UCC filing. Look up what the definition is, what the difference is. Say, what's the difference between a UCC versus a non-UCC filing? You can just Google that and check it out. It'll make sense to you, I think. And so from my perspective, this is what I do. What I would do, what I maybe have done, is, again, entertainment, something to think about, is, maybe some education. That's okay too. Trust, non-UCC filing. Then do a publication. You can actually even do your fictitious name or DBA at that point. A newspaper publication of like your status and standing declaration of that, affidavit form or not. I did not do an affidavit form. After 4 weeks, you get an affidavit of publication in the newspaper for legal notices. And if your newspaper doesn't do it, find another one that does. Ideally, still in your, the state you sojourn in. And then from there, you put together a packet of information, which I'm not going to go through every single thing, but like, for instance, in my case, it was a family Bible entry, a patent of nativity, which traces my bloodline back to the Mayflower, so well before the United States was ever established, but America was certainly here. Back to peace treaties with the Pilgrims and the natives. Make it clear that you're an Indian American since you've been here for many generations. I think it was the Treaty of Delaware that made it clear that anybody that's been here for a certain amount of time is an Indian American. So this land essentially belongs to God and then you. Never belongs to us per se. We don't possess it. Just we are the title holders, basically. So you get your... There's other things you can do, like through My E-Verify. You can verify that you're a non-citizen national. You can shut down your social, like freeze it, essentially. You can do a work verification. You can do a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, through the Homeland Security, that, asking for their person-centric inventory. It's like PCIS, some kind of system. And they can person-centric something system, whatever. So I forget. Forgive me. And you would like search for if there's any information that you're a citizen or not. There isn't. You're only a citizen because you say you are, and a resident because you say you are. You sojourn, you're not a resident. Maybe you domicile. I don't. I sojourn. So you want to correct your address. These are little things, but again, it's trust, UCC, newspaper publication that has the UCC number filing in it, non-UCC number, still a financing statement, which you're leaning basically your DNA, your bloodline, and so on. Then you take that affidavit of publication after the 4 weeks, and you put together a packet that you're going to file in your county, the county where you were registered, your birth certificate was registered, not you were registered, but your birth certificate was registered in representation of your body, basically. There's like more to that, but again, I'm just doing my best to make this kind of quick. Then once you get that filed and recorded back to the land in the county where everything started, you then take that packet and you include it with an explanatory statement in your passport application. This is what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. Excuse me for that language. And then that all gets sent to the Department of State, which updates your state file, my state file. And I get my passport and my passport card back. And then from there, because I'm a non-citizen national, a non-resident alien, I can then go get a bank account. That's a trust account. That is an unincorporated business organization trust that invokes Christ in it, and it is therefore considered, technically speaking, as long as I stand on this, a 508c1a organization or a church, which doesn't need IRS anything. And I set that bank account up using a W-8BEN. And there's more to this. I'm not going to share this publicly. You can book a call if you want to know more about the W-8BEN and how I fill it out. Other people have shown this, like James Lovett, and I just did a few different things in him, including adding my federal tax exempt number. If you don't know about that, you can find that out by booking a call, for instance. And then I hand that in with my bank account information. I sign my bank account a certain way. For instance, I may include a code like 12 USC 411. Some people argue about this. I'm just telling you what I may or may not do if I were you or if I were me. And that becomes where everything that is in and out of that bank account becomes lawful money and is the treasury side, and therefore the non-taxable side. And it happens to be that on the dollar bill or whatever bill, there's two seals, a Federal Reserve and a Treasury, and allegedly how it works is you can declare either side of that contract, and on the back of the contract of the Treasury seal is the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, which is a representation of Jesus Christ, of God. So you can be on God's side or the other side. And this is how one may be able to operate in commerce as a non-citizen national, non-resident alien, private American, through equity and trust, common law. It's as a good friend of mine, Joshua, made clear, like, we don't really have exclusive equity here. It's all been like merged. So you can look into that, statutory law, common law, etc. You need to know what jurisdiction you're in, proper speech. But yeah, and then like once I have my bank account, I might, for that trust, do a DBA, a fictitious name, in the name of that unincorporated trust, not in the name of, like, that unincorporated trust is doing business as, for instance, the Living Mystery Church. And then when I get donations, it goes right into my trust account, and it's essentially untouchable, and nothing is in my person's name or number. So creditors, all that, as long as the trust itself doesn't get sued or have any issues, and just my person is out here operating, but doesn't hold any assets, money, and so on, fiat currency, legal tender, lawful money, and it's all assigned to the trust, then creditors won't have anything to come after me. Then I might put my car in a trust, I might put my house in a trust, I might put my son in a trust, and put all this is part of that packet I mentioned that you're going to record with the county. So so this is just a quick little rundown of like what I might do if I was starting out, where I would start. And then if you have any questions about any of this for more details, you definitely need to book a call, because too much of this out there. There's plenty of other people that do put a lot of information. Again, James Lovett to me is one of the best. That kid, Brandon Joe Williams, One Stupid F. He's got some pretty good information. There's some others in private that I'm not going to say that are doing this if you find them. So yeah, anyways, this is it. That's about all the steps that I feel are necessary, other than like then you start putting people on notice. Then you can like allegedly operate without a driver's license. You can operate without registration insurance. You can travel from there in your private conveyance. You can allegedly start learning how to offset and discharge alleged debts, basically just bouncing the books in a bankruptcy way, since we all are operating in bankruptcy, and not most people don't realize that. They say the words, they don't know what that means, and so that there is no money per se, and we're just operating off ledgers, and it's all accounting. So if you know how to operate properly as a private bank, theoretically you can gain access to your securities, offset debts, for instance, to get a house, a car, land, and just live your life. I don't have experience with any of this. I don't know how to do any of that. It wasn't something so far that's been significant to me. For me, it's all been about autonomy of myself and my offspring. And, from there, I may start getting into some of this other stuff, and I probably won't ever share that openly because I think that's dangerous. And that's where you start really getting into like private mentoring and private groups and stuff like that. Because if certain people had the keys to the kingdom here, they could easily ruin it. And I'm not okay with that. That's why I consider myself a friend of the government, a friend of the United States, because I see the purpose of these entities. Some of them are being abused for sure, and I think others know that in there, and people are doing their best, I think, to balance it and kind of figure it out. And it always gets figured out. It always gets balanced. It's just the way it is. So don't worry, don't fear. We're going through a reset. It's just what it is. Some of us will make it, some of us won't. And, it is what it is. Just have faith. Live in knowing that things are going to go well for you, or that they're not. That's up to you. And that's it. So I hope this was clear, concise, fairly straightforward. I definitely know I could lose my train of thought here and there, but hope this was helpful. I pray this was helpful. I love you all. If you need to book a call, if you have any questions, if you want to know more, thelivingmysterychurch.org, thelivingmysterychurch.org. You can book a call. And even if you don't, I hope this was enough. I pray this was enough information for you to get going and get started and kind of look into some of the stuff I'm talking about if you haven't already. Thank you. Peace.